Somebody should have told me it would be like this. Be like this.
Eyez is here with
Brian,
and we are worth the download. And this week we're pretty excited because we're actually reviewing a surprise album that we weren't expecting to, which is J. Cole's new album, For Your Eyez Only. So what was interesting about this is that he kind of announced it a week ago, and with it though he dropped 2 singles, right, and which were pretty strong singles, which got a lot of people talking, a lot of conversation happening around J. Cole, especially since we hadn't really heard from him in like 2 years since the Forest Hill album. And so I know we got pretty excited about that. So I guess the 2 singles that came out were Everybody Dies and False Prophets, and people were talking a lot about that first opening verse for False Prophets. So they're saying, is he taking a stab at Kanye? And I don't know. I'm not here to make any judgments. You guys let us know in the comments.
I'm not here to make any arguments, but I don't believe in conspiracy, and it's probably true.
It's probably true. Well, how did you feel about those two singles?
You know what? Like False Prophet definitely was like a banger to me. Like it was definitely one of those songs where like it's not radio friendly, right? Let's be honest. But it was definitely a song that stood out the most out of the 2 singles, and. The other one, it was alright. I like the video. The video's great, first of all, in both videos. They're very kind of like his unique style, right? But overall, great. What do you think about them?
I like them a lot, and I think it kind of set up the album. The interesting thing is that both these singles aren't even on the actual album.
Nope.
However, these 2, and I think it's because the album, like, let's talk about the album a little bit. It's kind of like it's a story album, right? He's talking a lot about, I don't know if he's talking about his life or a friend's life. I think it's kind of a mixture of 2. People are having that kind of debate online, and I think you can really tell. I think it's on the last track where he has kind of like the 2 point of views. You'll have to listen to it to know exactly what I'm talking about. But and in those singles though, he's talking about. I mean, those 2 singles they stood apart, obviously, right? From the whole album, and so it gave it a little bit of a different feel. But like I said, it got people talking about J. Cole, and I think that was probably what he was going for.
But probably to get the attention.
Yeah. So let's talk about J. Cole. I mean, J. Cole is always an interesting guy, and clearly, announcing an album a week before, it's going to drop is a pretty big move for somebody, right? Because, well, it creates a lot of hype and gets people a lot of excited, but a lot of artists wouldn't do something like that.
Nope.
And J. Cole's always an interesting artist to kind of have to listen to as well, because everybody loves him for his lyrics, right? He's a huge lyricist. He's also self-produced for the most part, right? Obviously, he gets some help here and there, but but he's basically a self-produced artist, right? And outside of him, right, I think the only person I can think of is Kanye, who does something like that.
Yes.
And so maybe that's a hint towards that verse I'm talking about.
That's why there's a stab around there, yeah.
Maybe it could be.
Who knows, right?
Because we know that he was a big role model for him. And so now let's move into like the actual album, though. The flow of the album, like I said, it's a storytelling type of album. Flows really, really well. Different from the 2 singles that he dropped obviously before.
Yeah.
And but overall, like, it's got the kind it's got that J. Cole vibe to him, that old school hip hop beats that obviously he produced, and I think he makes an ode to and even in the singles though beforehand, right, where he talks a lot about the respect that he has for those old school rappers and how he how they had a respect for the art and for and for the lyricism of it, and so I think he shows that right in this album a lot.
The way I think of it is more like this is a J. Cole album, and did you get a J. Cole album? Yes, you did. From start to finish, it's J. Cole. What did we expect? He did exactly what we expected, with better lyricism, and I loved it. I enjoyed it myself personally. Not a crazy fan of J. Cole, but this is definitely one of the songs that really stood out to me. Albums, my bad.
Yeah. I think overall, like talking about like I said, like the feel, the lyricism, and everything, the production of the album overall, it's definitely a J. Cole, album. J. Cole. And so if you're a J. Cole fan, you'll definitely not be disappointed with this album. I think you'll all really, really enjoy it. A short album in terms of track number, but because it only had the 10 tracks.
Only 10
right?
tracks, yeah.
But overall, like, it's your full album. 45 minutes of solid tracks, and I know he talks a lot. It's J. Cole, right? So he's going to talk a lot about current events and things that are happening right now in, I guess, in society, and a lot of things regarding
he's a true rapper, so
he's
going to
Black
talk
Lives
about
Matter, things that
yeah.
I think hit home for him, right? And so I think that's what people respect about him too, because he's not afraid to talk about that stuff. He's not talking about like the things that you hear a lot of rappers talk about, right? Which is, I think, something that he talks about obviously in those 2 singles, where he's kind of bashing current hip hop artists and stuff.
He's not a Chief Keef or Future or anything like that, or Walk a Flock of Flame.
No, and that might be a part of the reason why he tends to stay away from doing collabs too, right? Because he knows that he kind of stands on his own ground and he's kind of his own artist, and people respect him for that. And I think that's why his albums like always tend to do so well, and they tend to do what he says which is they last the test of time, right? Because they're true. Like, he respects the art, and people really respect that about him, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, like, is it worth the download? Let's talk about, as an overall album, how do you feel on it?
I like the album a lot. Again, not a big fan of J. Cole in his previous project. This one definitely stood out of most of them, other than this first one. I like this first one a lot. 4 out of 5 for me, man.
4 out of 5?
4 out of 5, yeah.
So,
4.5 out of 5. Let's do that.
All right, that's a little step up. I think that this album, like, if it's an album that definitely grows with you. At this point, for me, I'm gonna give it a solid 4 out of 5. For me, like I said, this album is something that kind of grows along with you. Like, I gave it the first listen, and I felt like I couldn't give it a solid review until I gave it like a second or third listen, because it's an album that you'll miss things if you don't actually give it that time and pay attention to it. It's an album you have to kind of sit in and just really, I think, absorb. But for me, a solid album. 4 out of 5 for me. So I guess it puts us at what, 4.25?
Again, surprises me with numbers.
I
have a question for you,
Sure.
actually. All right, so just simple, just answer it, right?
Okay.
The Mop Head, love it, hate it, dig it. What is it?
I like it.
You like it? Suits him.
Yeah, I think it suits him really well. I think I like it better than his slicked shaved head.
Shaved head, yeah.
I think it looks really good on him, and he clearly likes it himself, because he makes a comment about it. And
he just likes it. He's like, grew his hair, and that's great. And that's in False Prophet, by the way.
Yeah, in False Prophet, he talks about that, how he likes it, and he's gonna just keep growing it. So I'm interested to see how long he's gonna go before he.
I don't know, man. He's gonna be a Bob Marley or something. You know what I mean?
But in any case, guys, let us know what you guys think about the album. Let us know in the comments, maybe what your favorite track is. Let's start a dialogue about this album. Again, next week, make sure you tune in, because we'll be reviewing Kid Cudi's new album, and we haven't heard from him in a while. Either. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting album to definitely have to review. So make sure you stay tuned. So you have to subscribe to make sure that so that we let you know exactly when that next video drops. And I guess we'll catch you guys on the next video.
Take care.
Somebody should have told me it would be like this. Be like this.